I think having spoken to Dr. Tedros for many months now, I think the world should be incredibly grateful for what Jordan is doing and the moral leadership that it shows.
Breaking developments tonight from California, and if confirmed in full, they could mark one of the most dramatic turning points in modern royal history. In a Los Angeles Superior courtroom earlier this morning, a highly confidential divorce and custody ruling involving Prince Harry and Meghan Markle was finalized under case documentation that had been sealed for months, while official transcripts are still under restricted release. Multiple legal observers present inside the courthouse described the decision as decisive, sweeping, and structurally devastating for the Duchess of Sussex. According to court insiders, the ruling grants Prince Harry primary legal and physical custody of the couple's two children. Meghan, sources claim, was denied joint custody and reportedly received no spousal support allocation in the finalized order. Immigration consequences are also now being discussed, although federal authorities have not publicly confirmed any deportation action at this time. The timing is what has stunned royal watchers, while global headlines over the past week have focused heavily on developments connected to Prince Andrew and renewed scrutiny of historic palace files. This California case appears to have advanced quietly in the background. Legal analysts now suggest that the international media frenzy may have unintentionally provided cover for what one source described as a meticulously coordinated custody strategy. Inside courtrooms, witnesses describe an atmosphere of high tension. Judge Patricia Morrison reportedly referenced what she characterized as repeated violations of temporary custody agreements during the 16-month legal process. While the exact language of the ruling remains sealed, individuals familiar with the decree claim the court cited patterns of interference that influenced the final custody determination. It is important to note, none of these claims have yet been independently verified through publicly released transcripts. However, multiple legal correspondents have confirmed that the case status has changed from sealed review to finalized decree. If accurate, the implications extend beyond family law. Royal observers are already speculating about what this means for the line of succession and whether the children may now spend increased time in the line. United Kingdom aviation trackers noted unusual private flight scheduling activity out of Southern California earlier today, though no official travel confirmation has been issued. Behind the legal headlines, another dimension is unfolding. Financial scrutiny. Court filings reportedly included forensic financial evaluations. Allegations of undisclosed assets surfaced during proceedings, though again, federal agencies have not confirmed any criminal investigation at this stage. Legal experts caution against jumping to conclusions until documentation becomes public record. Meanwhile, public reaction has been swift and polarized. Supporters of Prince Harry argue this reflects a father fighting for stability and continuity. Critics question how such a dramatic ruling could emerge so suddenly without prior media leaks. What is clear tonight is this: the narrative surrounding the Sussex household has shifted sharply. For months, attention centered on public appearances, humanitarian travel, and media projects. But inside a Los Angeles courtroom, a far more consequential battle appears to have been unfolding. And if the reported details hold true, this may represent not just the end of a marriage, but the beginning of a new phase in the monarchy's modern recalibration. Stay with us as we move into Part 2, where we examine the alleged 16-month legal strategy, the role of forensic testimony, and how this case may connect to wider institutional shifts inside the royal establishment. As the dust begins to settle on the initial court ruling, new details are emerging about the legal and logistical maneuvers that, reportedly, define this high-stakes custody case. Sources close to the Los Angeles proceedings indicate that Prince Harry's legal team spent over 16 months meticulously compiling evidence intended to demonstrate patterns of parental alienation and alleged interference in the children's upbringing. The evidence reportedly included detailed witness statements from household staff, educators, and psychologists who had observed interactions within the family home over the past several years. While court documents remain largely sealed, the emerging narrative suggests a highly structured legal strategy designed to protect the children and establish primary custody with Harry. Multiple legal analysts emphasize the complexity of international jurisdiction in this case. Allegations of cross-border travel and attempts to involve foreign authorities, particularly during reported trips to Jordan, reportedly added layers of urgency. Court filings, according to sources, included flight logs, private communications, and other documentation meant to assess potential risks to the children if they were removed from the United States. Observers note that this strategy reflects an unusual coordination between a high-profile family and the courts, with legal teams leveraging both domestic family law and international child protection conventions. The alleged involvement of diplomatic channels, while not officially confirmed, has been widely discussed in media circles and legal forums, highlighting the intricate intersection of celebrity, sovereignty, and law. Public reaction remains polarized. On one hand, supporters of Harry have framed the ruling as a victory for child welfare, emphasizing the importance of a stable environment and adherence to court agreements. On the other hand, critics argue that the media frenzy surrounding the case has blurred the lines between legal procedure and public spectacle, making it difficult for neutral observers to assess the facts independently. Meanwhile, attention is also turning toward financial transparency. According to multiple court observers, forensic accountants reportedly examined complex offshore holdings and income disclosures connected to the parties involved. While these claims have not been publicly verified, legal commentators suggest that financial clarity was a significant factor in shaping the court's final decision, particularly in determining the scope of support and property entitlements. Adding another layer of intrigue, sources note that the timing of this ruling coincided with significant international events and palace developments, including the handling of historic scandals within the royal family. Analysts suggest that such timing was strategic, ensuring that attention remained divided while critical filings were processed and adjudicated. In the public eye, Meghan Markle's recent activities, including high-profile visits abroad, have been framed as humanitarian initiatives. Yet, according to court insiders, these visits were examined closely for any implications regarding custody and jurisdiction. Alleged discrepancies in travel plans and communications reportedly played a role in the court's assessment of risk and stability for the children. Legal experts caution viewers that while this account captures the reported dynamics of the case, much remains unverified pending the public release of the full court documents. What is evident, however, is that the combination of meticulous legal preparation, strategic timing, and coordinated evidence collection appears to have culminated in a decisive outcome favoring Harry. As the story continues to unfold, attention now turns to the next phase, the enforcement of custody arrangements, potential appeals, and the broader implications for royal family dynamics. Analysts note that while the legal proceedings occurred in Los Angeles, the ripple effects are likely to be felt across international media, royal institutions, and the public narratives surrounding the Sussex family. Stay tuned for Part 3, where we will examine the alleged internal palace strategy, the role of high-level family oversight, and how these events connect to broader patterns of influence, accountability, and media management within the royal establishment. As the Los Angeles Superior Court ruling reverberates across media outlets worldwide, attention is now turning to the unseen forces that shaped the outcome. Sources close to the proceedings suggest that what the public witnessed was only the tip of a highly calculated legal strategy, one intertwined with the private oversight of the royal household itself. According to insiders, Prince William played a quiet but pivotal role behind the scenes. For over 16 months, confidential communications indicate that the Prince of Wales monitored evidence gathering, coordinated with legal teams, and ensured that critical documents were available for court filings. This included financial disclosures, staff testimonies, and even travel itineraries. Observers describe it as a carefully orchestrated operation, blending legal precision with an understanding of international diplomacy, ensuring that no loophole could be exploited. Analysts note that the timing of filings was critical, just days before major public appearances, including the BAFTS and humanitarian events. The legal team reportedly finalized documents detailing patterns of parental alienation and potential flight risks. This meticulous timing appears to have kept defense counsel on the back foot, forcing rapid responses and limiting opportunities for counter-arguments. One of the most dramatic revelations from court observers concerns alleged psychological coaching within the household. According to multiple sources, statements from nannies, teachers, and psychologists depicted a pattern of manipulation, where children were reportedly encouraged to view one parent negatively. While the court documents remain sealed, these testimonies are said to have carried significant weight in Judge Morrison's decision to award sole custody to Harry. The financial dimension of the case is equally consequential. Reports indicate that forensic accountants examined international income streams, offshore accounts, and undisclosed assets linked to the parties. Alleged inconsistencies in financial reporting reportedly influenced both the spousal support determination and broader considerations of moral turpitude in the context of residency law. Observers suggest that this scrutiny, combined with legal precedent, created a scenario where any attempts to circumvent custody or residency orders were virtually impossible. Meanwhile, Meghan Markle's recent trip to Jordan has come under renewed scrutiny. While publicly framed as a humanitarian visit, legal insiders suggest it may have inadvertently reinforced the perception of flight risk in the eyes of the court. Alleged communications with foreign officials and questions surrounding travel itineraries purportedly contributed to the perception that the children could be moved outside the jurisdiction of California family law. In effect, what was meant as a soft power maneuver appears to have strengthened Harry's legal position rather than undermined it. the broader strategic picture also cannot be ignored. Multiple palace sources indicate that senior members of the royal family were fully aware of the proceedings. Coordination between private royal offices and legal counsel reportedly ensured that evidence of misconduct and financial discrepancies was preserved and verified, giving Harry's legal team an unassailable foundation. Observers describe it as a convergence of private influence and formal judicial process, executed with precision. Public response has been intense and deeply polarized. Social media commentary reflects a mix of outrage, relief, and disbelief. Supporters of Harry emphasize the importance of child welfare and adherence to court orders, while critics focus on the spectacle and media exposures surrounding the proceedings. The combination of legal rigor and public visibility has created a scenario in which every action is scrutinized, analyzed, and debated. What emerges from these developments is a clear pattern. The case was never simply about a marriage. It involved questions of parental responsibility, legal strategy, international law, and the influence of high-level familial oversight. The courtroom may have issued a ruling in Los Angeles, but the impact resonates across borders, shaping both public perception and the internal dynamics of the monarchy. As this story continues to unfold, the next chapter will examine the enforcement of custody, the fate of international travel plans, and the possible long-term ramifications for the Sussex family. The coming weeks are expected to reveal how the intersection of law, strategy, and family influence will continue to define this unprecedented saga. The fallout from the Los Angeles Superior Court ruling has not only reshaped the Sussex family dynamic but has sent shockwaves through royal circles and the international media. While the decree itself was definitive, the true story lies in how it was executed and the calculated precision behind every move that led to this moment. Sources close to the court reveal that Prince Harry's legal team operated like a military command, coordinating timelines, evidence, and communications with surgical precision. Every deposition, every affidavit, every forensic report was carefully timed to maximize impact. The media coverage of unrelated royal scandals, most notably the arrest of Prince Andrew, was reportedly leveraged as a tactical distraction, allowing sensitive filings to be submitted under temporary seals, unseen by public scrutiny. This method ensured that crucial evidence of parental alienation, financial discrepancies, and flight risk was firmly before the judge without interference. Courtroom observers described the atmosphere during the final proceedings as tense and decisive. Judge Patricia Morrison reportedly reviewed hundreds of pages of evidence in real time, meticulously cross-referencing witness statements, financial disclosures, and flight logs. When delivering her verdict, she emphasized that no celebrity status, media influence, or public sympathy could outweigh documented behavior that endangered the children's stability. Her comments reportedly highlighted a consistent pattern of obstruction, manipulation, and psychological coercion. This was no ordinary custody battle. It was a ruling shaped by both the law and an awareness of international child protection protocols. The Jordan trip, widely publicized as a humanitarian mission, played a surprising role in the court's assessment. Legal analysts suggest that attempts to move the children into foreign jurisdiction reinforced the court's determination that a flight risk existed. Communications between Meghan's team and officials abroad, coupled with the lack of a definitive return plan, were cited as evidence that the visit was not merely charitable but potentially strategic. By overstepping the boundaries of US family law, Meghan inadvertently strengthened Harry's position, demonstrating how miscalculated moves can have immediate legal consequences. Financial scrutiny proved equally decisive. Forensic accounting revealed inconsistencies in reported income, including previously undisclosed offshore holdings. According to sources, this information was crucial not only in denying spousal support, but also in triggering the moral turpitude review by the Department of Homeland Security. Combined with the formal withdrawal of Harry's affidavit of support for U.S. residency, these measures effectively terminated Meghan's legal foothold in America. Experts note that such a coordinated approach linking family law, immigration law, and forensic finance is extraordinarily rare, highlighting the unprecedented scale of this legal campaign. Behind the scenes, the monarchy's influence was quietly decisive. Royal aides, privy to both palace records and operational intelligence, reportedly provided Harry's legal team with meticulously verified evidence, including travel manifests, household logs, and internal communications. This level of coordination, covert, precise, and legally admissible, allowed Harry to present an airtight case. Observers describe it as a masterclass in leveraging institutional authority while respecting judicial independence. Public reaction has been immediate and polarized. Supporters of Harry hail the ruling as a triumph for child welfare and accountability, emphasizing that the law prevailed over celebrity privilege. Meanwhile, critics focus on the spectacle and unprecedented media attention surrounding a custody dispute of this magnitude. Social platforms have exploded with commentary, debate, and speculation, further amplifying the reach and scrutiny of every legal move. As the court moves to enforce custody and initiate deportation proceedings, attention is shifting to logistical execution. Sources confirm that private flights are being arranged to return Archie and Lilet to the United Kingdom under full security measures. Legal experts note that compliance with international child protection treaties, including the Hague Convention, it is critical to prevent any further jurisdictional complications. Looking ahead, analysts predict that the final chapter will not merely be about relocation or deportation. It is expected to define long-term access protocols, therapeutic arrangements, and ongoing oversight of the children's welfare. For Meghan Markle, the ramifications are profound: loss of custodial rights, loss of spousal support, and immediate challenges to her U.S. residency. For Prince Harry, the victory consolidates both parental authority and institutional support, securing a legal and practical framework for the children's upbringing within the monarchy. In essence, this case has demonstrated a convergence of law, strategy, and royal influence. Every action from evidence collection to media timing, from financial audits to international legal maneuvers, was part of a highly orchestrated plan. It illustrates that in high-profile family disputes, legal skill, institutional backing, and strategic foresight can decisively shape outcomes. The final question remains: how will this seismic ruling reshape public perception of the Sussex family and the monarchy at large? While the immediate focus is on child welfare and enforcement, the broader narrative underscores the intersection of celebrity, law, and institutional authority. In the coming weeks, the international press will continue dissecting every detail, every maneuver, and every consequence.